Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week we take a look at what's happening in the Villages real estate market. If you watch this show, you'll have a very good idea both as to the differences between the different areas of the villages in terms of price and size and the number of properties for sale. And you'll also get a good idea as to long-term trends, whether prices are rising, falling, number of listings increasing, decreasing, etc. Couple of things to note. First, we produce this show every Monday. Make sure you check the date to ensure that you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service. It does not include any information from the village's own internal VLS. If you are a buyer, you really need to have a representative showing you properties both on MLS and VLS. If you only see properties on one market, you will not see everything for sale. And as I'll show you a little later, you can see that there is a difference between the VLS and the MLS, especially in different regions of the villages. The VLS is the only marketplace where you will find new listings, but if you are looking for pre-owned homes, you need to be aware of what's for sale both on MLS and on VLS. If you're a buyer and you're trying to get a good deal here, trying to justify an offering price to a seller, or you're a seller trying to justify their asking price to a buyer, please consider consulting with us. We have tools and research that will help you determine the best competitive bid if you're a buyer, or the lowest asking price that you should accept if you're a seller. We also have a website, DavidisinFlorida.com. Please visit us. You'll find information on life in the villages itself, in addition to the real estate market here. And before I forget, please don't forget to like and or subscribe to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you need to reach me, I can be reached either at davidisinflorida@gmail.com or at our website, davidisinflorida.com. Feel free to reach out to me for any questions about life in the villages or the real estate market here. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at the interest rate market. This chart is showing you the yield on the US 10-year note. The mortgage rate most closely tracks this yield. It's usually about 3 percentage points higher. Currently, we're looking at around 4.5% on the 10-year, which is about 7.5% on the 30-year mortgage. The US is currently borrowing $1 trillion every 100 days currently. It's hard to imagine that this is not already out of control, and what this means for interest rates is anybody's guess. But as you'll see a little later, the real estate market here in the villages is particularly susceptible to this kind of shock right now because inventory is exploding, as I will show you next. Here we're looking at total listings in the villages, and this situation is definitely out of control now. You can see the rise in inventory accelerating dramatically over the last 3 weeks. Currently 479 active listings on the MLS compared to only 457 last week, and this compares to only 342 active listings the same period a year ago. Currently, prices in the villages range from just under 145,000 to just under 2.4 million. The rise in inventory is especially disconcerting because we're entering a slower period of the year for sales now. Let's take a closer look at these listings, and we're going to start by looking at a zoomed out view of the villages. This map and the maps coming up are showing you all active listings currently on the MLS. The first map gives you an idea as to where the villages is in Florida itself. And we're going to keep zooming in for the next few seconds. You can get some idea as to the boundaries of the villages by looking at these maps. We're going to continue zooming in on this map. As I said, these are all active listings. The size of the circle denotes the size of the home, and the color of the circle denotes its price. The larger the circle, the larger the home. The brighter the circle, the more expensive the home. And we're going to stay zoomed in on this view for just a second. This map is showing you all current active listings. The size of the home is the size of the circle, and the color of the circle is the price of the home. The more expensive, the brighter the circle. This map now is showing you the same information, but now the color of the circle is representing the price per square foot. Using a tool like this makes it easy to find properties that have particularly good value. So, as I said, these are all of the active listings currently in the villages. What I'm going to do is break the villages down into 4 different areas to compare them: north, middle, south, and south. The graphs I'm going to show you now are going to show you how many properties are available in each of these areas. This is the first area. I'm calling this the north. It is everything south of Highway 42 and north of Highway 466. And it does include Spanish Springs. Once again, the size of the circle, the size of the home, and the color represents its price per square foot. The more expensive per square foot, the lighter the color. This is the area that I'm calling the mid-north, everything south of 466 and north of Highway 466A. This area includes Lake Sumter. This is the area I'm calling the mid-south, which is everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. And this is the area that I'm calling the south, which is everything south of Highway 44. I would like to mention again that if you are looking to buy, especially in the south, I believe that VLS has more properties than MLS, but whichever listing service has more properties, you need to see properties on both marketplaces or you will not be able to see everything for sale. So now that I've described the different areas of the villages, let's take a look and see how properties differ within them. What you see here is all listings. Total listings is the villages as a whole, 479 active listings currently. Smallest home available for sale, currently 768 square feet. Largest, 4,216 square feet. The least expensive home currently in the village is 145,000. Most expensive, $2.395 million. In the north, there are 214 properties for sale. The most expensive, $1,020,000. In the south, 65 properties for sale. The most expensive, $1,075,000. Interestingly enough, the middle north has the most expensive property at $2,395,000, which is over 4,200 square feet. Continuing looking at listings, here we're breaking down the listings to get some idea as to how many properties are available in each price point in the different regions of the villages. All regions, villages as a whole, north, middle, south, and south are as described, and you can see how many properties are available at each price point in the different regions of the villages. Same type information. Here we're looking at listings again, but here we're looking at them broken down by size. All regions, the villages as a whole, north, middle, south, and south, as I described previously. And this is giving you a good idea as to what size properties are available in the different regions. One last look at sizes. This will give you some idea as to which segments are most active here. Looking at the 1100 to 1200 square foot size bucket, by far the most active. As you can see, almost 100 listings in that size bucket alone. I added something unusual this week. This map is showing you all properties that are currently on the market for $1 million or more in the villages, and this includes both VLS and MLS. On the map, the red dots are VLS listings and the blue dots are MLS listings. Keep in mind, we're only looking here at homes that are over $1 million. And looking at this graph, it seems quite apparent that the villages has by far more listings south of 466A in the million plus price range than the MLS does. But north of 466, it certainly appears that MLS offers many more choices than VLS does. Let's look at some long-term charts for a moment. Here we're looking at the median listing price for all listings on the MLS. This week it's 261.42. Coincidentally, exactly the same as the 261.42 of last week and barely improved from the 260.48 of a year ago. Not much to determine from this chart, which shows us the median time on the market for all listings, which this week is 38 days, identical to the 38 days of last week, and slightly improved from the 44 days on the market same week a year ago. And now we come to the meat of the matter, the problem that is facing the villages real estate market currently, which is more new listings than homes selling or going pending. This graph is showing us weekly the number of new listings and the number of homes going pending on a week-by-week basis. Red line new listings, black line homes going pending. Obviously, we want to see pending home sales track new listings if we want prices to remain stable. It has been pointed out to me that a lot of my viewers aren't necessarily sellers but buyers. With that perspective, this chart is very encouraging because it appears as if supply is becoming a big problem here in the villages. This week, 57 new listings, down slightly from the 68 of last week, but dramatically higher than the 40 of a year ago. Homes that went pending numbered 34, improvement from the 31 of the week before, but still down from the 39 of the year before. Interesting to note that last year the number of new listings and homes going pending was about the same. This year, 23 is the imbalance. And the previous chart gives rise to this chart, which shows us the difference between new listings and homes going pending. This week, 23 more homes were listed than went pending, compared to 37 last week, and compared to only one more home being listed than going pending last year. While it might be encouraging to think that an improvement from 37 to 23 is noteworthy, it is worth pointing out that with this improvement to 23, we're only back to the worst levels that we've seen over the last 2 years. Good news for sellers last week. Looking at the homes that went pending, they went pending at 271.04 a foot, up sizably from the 258.62 of the week before and up noticeably from the 256.15 of the week before. This graph is a smooth 4-week average. The colored numbers you see are the actual data points. More good news for sellers. This is the price reduction for the homes that went pending last week. They had a median reduction of 4.76 from the original listing price. Big improvement from the 7.65% reduction that was in effect the week before, and a big improvement from the 7.76% reduction that was in effect the same week a year ago. So now we'll look at sales. This week there were 34 sales, down from 52 sales the week before, and down from the 39 sales that took place the same week a year ago. Prices for the homes that sold and closed last week ranged from just under $228,000 to just over $1.1 million. It is distressing seeing the number of sales and the number of homes going pending decrease, as is usual this time of year, because new listings seem to continue to increase. This chart gives the opposite impression than the pending per square foot did a moment ago. Here we're looking at the median price per square foot realized on the homes that closed last week, down to $249 from $258 the previous week, and lower than the $253 a foot that homes were closing at the same week a year ago. Here's another potential sign of worry that we should keep our eyes on. This is the median time on the market for the homes that closed last week. 37 days, almost twice as long as the homes that closed the previous week, and a longer period of time than the 30 days that homes that closed a year ago were on the market. Now we'll take a look at all listings again, and here we're looking at what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original listing price. This week, 50.52% have, worse than the 50.33 who had the week before, but this is still better than the 53.8 who had reduced their asking price from the original listing price a year ago. A point I'd like to make is that with all of these new listings, none of which presumably have had to reduce their asking price, you would expect this percentage to be falling dramatically with the increase in new inventory, and it is not. And here we look at what the median decrease actually is. This week, a 4.43% decrease, the median from the original listing price, compared to 4.7 the previous week, and compared to 4.53% for the same week a year ago. If you're a buyer and you're trying to get a good deal here in the villages, or you're a seller and you're trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me either at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or through our website, DavidisinFlorida.com. If you're a buyer, I'll be happy to research areas for you and find a good deal. Similarly, if you are a seller, I'll show you how to justify the highest reasonable asking price where you can expect to sell it in a reasonable period of time. So if you have any questions about real estate in Central Florida or the villages or life in the villages itself, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help. Hope to hear from you. Take care.